Inuyasha, Yu Hakusho. I'm just gonna be straight up honest, both of these anime are old. I'm talking about before I was even born old. But I feel like they both have something in common, and that's the fact that they've withstood the test of time. They both still get recommended a lot, and they both still have fan bases. So obviously I was like, let's match these two anime up and see which one is better. Inuyasha versus Yu Hakusho. As usual, there are 5 rounds: plot, production, structure, conflict, and characters. There are 5 rounds, so that way it can't be a tie, and whoever wins will be deemed the better series.
Lights are lit and there's sweat on your embrace. One other thing I dare.
Okay, so in short, Inuyasha is about a teenage girl who travels back to the feudal era of Japan, and she meets a half-human dog demon and they go on this adventure to find the Shikon jewels. And as for the genre, Inuyasha is an action, adventure, and romance. And when I say romance, it actually does have romance in it. It's not like Naruto when it's just kinda there, but just barely. I kinda like how Inuyasha was able to balance all of those things into the whole entire anime, where there are some episodes that had the romance focused ones, and then some other episodes where it was just action and fighting. So Inuyasha is 167 episodes long, and the thing is, whenever an anime is that long, you can't enjoy every single episode. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it does get a little bit dragged on too much. Like, you might not like the fillers, but the main story is enough to make you stay around. So, Yu Hakusho, it's about a teenage guy who's basically a deviant and he has always had a bad personality, but he actually dies by saving a kid who's about to be hit by a car. And because of his last actions, he actually has a chance to be resurrected by becoming a spirit detective. Yu Hakusho is more of a traditional shonen action comedy anime with 112 episodes. It's actually made by the same author who made Hunter x Hunter, but I'm just gonna say it right here and right now, Yu Hakusho is not as good as Hunter x Hunter, and anybody would agree with me. And yes, Yu Hakusho does have a lot of problems which I will touch later on in this video, but as for the plot, it's actually pretty unique and interesting. So Yu Hakusho is actually gonna take this round. I think it has a better plot than Inuyasha, so that means Yu Hakusho now leads 1-0.
Lights are lit and there's sweat on your embrace. One other thing I dare.
Production for these two animes, this is a very interesting round. So Yu Hakusho came out in 1992 and Inuyasha came out in 2000. That's an 8-year difference. And you might think that's not really that much of a difference, but apparently it is. The art and animations are just horrible. They're just not good for Yu Hakusho. At least for Inuyasha, you can give the excuse that it was a different time, that the animation just looked different back then for Inuyasha. But even for Yu Hakusho, even for its time, I feel like I've seen better anime that look better. Inuyasha's art and animations, I feel like met expectations, and I especially like the music of Inuyasha, but for Yu Hakusho, I think the music is debatable. Some people like it, some people don't. I personally don't, but it's debatable. So Inuyasha is gonna take this round, so it's now tied 1-1.
Lights are lit and there's sweat on your embrace. One other thing I dare.
I actually mentioned this earlier on in the video, but I actually love the structure of Inuyasha. I love how it tackles every bit of its genre. It's not just straight comedy or straight up action or just straight up romance throughout the whole thing. It doesn't feel like it's trying to be one over the other. I feel like it just blends everything together, and I feel like you can enjoy this anime whether you're 10 years old or you're 30 years old. That's how diverse I feel like it is. But the structure for Yu Hakusho is honestly a different story. Every single arc in Yu Hakusho starts off amazing, especially the tournament arc. Did it copy from Dragon Ball? Yes, but was it still entertaining? Yes, so every arc does start off interesting, but I feel like things start to get boring real quick. And by boring, I mean repetitive, because every single arc goes like this. There's a whole new villain that's introduced, and this villain is really powerful, and he's basically kicking everybody's butt. And Yosuke and his friends have a very little chance of winning against this villain, but somehow, some way through hard training, hard work, and hard dedication, they somehow, after like 20, 30, 40 episodes, somehow managed to defeat the villain, but just barely. And Inuyasha is gonna take the structure round, so Inuyasha leads 2-1.
Lights are lit and they're sweat on your embrace. One other thing I dare.
So conflicts. When I talk about conflicts, I'm mainly talking about villains. And if I'm being honest, both of these anime did not really have any prominent villains. The main villain for Inuyasha was Naraku, but I feel like the whole Naraku thing was so played out. Sashomaru was a pretty interesting villain, but I feel like he just didn't get enough screen time. And the villains for Yu Hakusho, like I said in the previous round, they could be interesting at first, but they just kind of start to lose steam as the conflict goes on. But I'm not gonna spoil it, but the villains in Yu Hakusho actually get a lot better near the end, even better than the villains in Inuyasha, and for that reason, Yu Hakusho is actually gonna win this round, so it's now tied 2-2. So whoever wins this last round will be deemed the better series.
Lights are lit and they're sweat on your embrace. One other thing I dare.
Let's start with Inuyasha. The characters of Inuyasha are honestly what makes the anime. They all have their own personality traits and they all got their own character development. Yeah, some of them are weaker and can't fight as good, but that's in every single shonen anime. If they were all strong, it wouldn't make sense. And yeah, they all have flaws, but that's how characters should be. Like Kagome, she has a strong heart, but she can't fend for herself. And Inuyasha's physically strong, but he's hot-headed. So Yu Yu Hakusho, despite having less episodes than Inuyasha, actually has way more characters. But there's 4 main ones I can cover, and here's an interesting thing. This is one of the only shonen anime where the main characters are just all guys. It's usually like 2 guys and 1 girl, or 3 guys and 1 girl, but nope, this is all guys and it actually still makes it work. Yosuke, we actually went over him a little bit. He used to have a bad personality, but over the anime he had a lot of growth and he became a genuinely good person. Kurama is the intelligent one in the group. Hiei is the distant and cold one, but deep down he actually cares. Kurama, he is clumsy and short-tempered and he's supposed to be seen as the stupid one, but honestly he actually is the most loyal person out of the whole group. Alright, so the time has come. Inuyasha or Yu Yu Hakusho? Who has the better characters? Well, they both have really good characters, but if I had to choose, I'm gonna say it's Inuyasha, because Inuyasha had less characters and more time to develop those characters, whereas Yu Yu Hakusho had a bunch of characters. They still managed to develop their main characters, but I feel like Inuyasha just put in a little bit more work, and for that, Inuyasha is gonna win this round, and they are gonna win the entire thing, so that means Inuyasha is deemed to be the better series. And that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Until we meet again, thanks for watching.
Lights are lit and they're sweat on your